Hello everyone, my name is N. Shivakumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Kamaraj College of Engineering and Technology. I am going to discuss the topic about gaseous fuels. So in that I have to discuss about the CNG versus LPG, that is compressed natural gas and liquefied petroleum gas. So this is the overview of the presentation. So first introduction about the gaseous fuel, then next one is composition and properties of the gaseous fuel. So and then continued with the composition and the properties and uses and applications of the CNG, that is compressed natural gas. The next one is uses and applications of the CNG and the comparison of the CNG over the other fuels. Then composition of the LPG and then properties of the LPG, and it is and what are the applications of the LPG, that is uses and applications, then advantages of the CNG versus LPG. So this is the introduction. So first one is what let me know what is meant by fuel. A fuel is a combustible substances, so which containing carbon as the main constituent. So here which on burning gives the large amount of heat and energy. So during the process of combustion, so the fuel, the atoms of the carbon and hydrogen combine with the oxygen, so with the simultaneous liberation of heat. So mainly what purpose we are using as a fuel. So fuel, it is used for the heat generation purpose. Then second one is power production. Then third one is called the industrial process, that is various industrial process we are utilizing the energy sources. So gaseous fuels may probably, that is gaseous fuels are the fuels that exist in the gaseous state at the normal temperature and pressure. So they burn with the high efficiency and clean flames. So normally when we are comparing to the solid fuel, liquid fuel and gaseous fuel, so we may propose that the gaseous fuels are more superior. So why? Because it is a clean atmosphere and then eco-friendly nature, then it leaves minimum amount of ash and then carbon residues, so that we prefer the gaseous fuel. So while it is used in the domestic purpose, industrial purpose and then power applications, so we are employing the gaseous fuels. Then what are some examples of the gaseous fuels? There are a number of the gaseous fuels we are widely using. So number one is natural gas. Natural gas is nothing but a methane gas. It is tremendously available in the delta regions and then in the coastal areas. So it is also present. So the next one is continuation with the CNG, compressed natural gas. Then LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Then biogas, that is gobar gas we can say. So biogas as a commercial way, that is gobar gas. Then coal gas, then producer gas. It's a combination of the carbon monoxide and nitrogen. Then water gas is the combination of the carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Then hydrogen. So these are all the gaseous fuels we are widely using in the world. So this is the composition of the gaseous fuels. So first of all, it will be separated into the two different combustible and non-combustible components. So number one is common combustible components, that is the two things. One is methane and another one is hydrogen, then carbon monoxide. So these are all the most common combustible components that may be present, and then non-combustible components like nitrogen and then carbon dioxide. So these are all the two non-combustible components are also present. It is used it is the one of the composition of the gaseous fuel. Then what are the properties of the gaseous fuel? So main property of the gaseous fuels, it will give the high calorific value. When compared to the solid fuel, liquid fuel, the gaseous fuels are the superior and it has the good calorific value. So compared to the liquid and the solid. So high calorific value. So then second one is called the clean combustion. So clean combustion technologies implemented in the gaseous fuels, not on the solid fuel we cannot say, and the liquid fuel we cannot say. So because it may releases the gases like carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So but here it will be a clean combustion. Then next one is low ash content. So day to day life we are using the LPG gases. So the LPG gas, it does not leave any carbon residue, and then it also not found we may not found the ash content. So low ash content, and then easy mixing with the air. So which whenever the gases will be mixed with the air, and it will give the good ignition. then better flame control, the flame will be controlled, and then higher thermal efficiency. So higher thermal efficiency, it will implies the presence of good requirement of any fuel. So high thermal efficiency is also noted in the gaseous fuel. Then compressed natural gas. The compressed natural gas, it is called as CNG. So when the natural gas is compressed is called the compressed natural gas. Normally the natural gas, it may consist of the 80 to 90% above the methane content. So here the compressed natural gas is also we have taken that natural gas and it is compressed. So that is called the compressed natural gas. The primary component of the CNG is methane. It is mainly derived from the natural gas. So one of the main component we are getting from the earth crust, that gas is called the natural gas. So it is none other than methane gas. The natural gas can either be stored in a tank of the vehicle as compared natural gas CNG at 3600 psi. So that is the under pressure we have to maintain that this CNG as a gaseous fuel. So for that we have used the various purpose. Then this is the main composition of the CNG. So normally the constituents and percentage it is given. So first one is methane, it is the topmost one is 88.5%. So normally 80 to 90% of methane can be present. Then ethane is about 5.5%, then propane is about 3.7%, then butane is about 1.8%, then pentane is about the trace amount, that is 0.5% it may be present. So this is a main composition. So one of the main component is methane. Methane is about the topmost one is 88.5%. Then this is the properties of the CNG. CNG is a very cleanest and cheap and then least environment impacting alternative fuels. So we can say that CNG is an alternative fuels. So in nowadays we can see that Delhi scenario, they are using the vehicles they have run by the CNG gas. So automobiles they are using, so that vehicles powered by CNG produce less carbon monoxide and hydrocarbon emissions. So that is the one of the thing. So we are most probably we are using the vehicle CNGs. So we can see that CNG automobiles and then autos and vehicles, so everything, because it may be an eco-friendly environment, okay. Then it is less expensive than petrol and diesel. So quite when we are comparing the price and cost of the petrol and diesel, so we can see that it is less expensive, the CNG gas. The ignition temperature of the CNG is about 550 degrees Celsius, and then CNG requires more ignition for the air. So when we are taken the CNG, so it will requires the more air for the ignition purpose, and then it will go on combustion, and then it may act as a fuel. So these are all the main properties. Then these are the use and the applications of the CNG. So main uses, number one is it is used in the automobile vehicles just like LPG. So LPG we may run the vehicles, autos, and every locomotives we have run by the LPG. The same way the compressed natural gas is also run by the various CNG gases. The CNG is much safer fuel since it ignites at a higher temperature than gasoline and diesel. So it will ignite the higher pressure and a higher temperature and then than gasoline and diesel. The operating cost of the CNG fuel is much lower compared to the gasoline operation. So operating cost is also much less and it is cheaper, and it is also the various automobile vehicles we are using this gas, and then CNG mixes better with that air than liquid fuels. So it will readily mixes with the air and it will act as a fuel. Then this chart represents the comparison between the emission of levels of the CNG driven vehicles and then petrol driven vehicles. Here you can see the pollutants it is given carbon monoxide gram per kilometer, and then hydrocarbon, that is gram per kilometer, that is given. So when we have a comparison between the emission levels petrol driven vehicles and then normal CNG driven vehicles, so you can see that petrol driven vehicles it is 0.92. Here you can see that the CNG driven vehicles is 0.05. It is very limited quantity, only it will pollute it. So we cannot say it may pollute it, it is a very trace amount. But when we are comparing to the petrol driven vehicles, even gram per kilometer it is 0.92, it is higher. And then hydrocarbon, it is gram emission per kilometer, here 0.36 for the petrol driven vehicles, and for the CNG it is 0.24. So here also the hydrocarbon emission is also very less compared to the petrol driven vehicles. So this is normally it will appraises the that CNG driven vehicles are far better than any other liquid driven vehicles. Then this is the liquefied petroleum gas. So it is normally known as the domestic fuel. So we are already using our domestic purpose as well as the industrial purpose. It is obtained by as a byproduct of the fractional distillation of crude petroleum or by cracking of the heavy oil. So when we have doing the cracking purpose, we have that kind of fractional distillation. So we have get the various byproducts. So petrol and then diesel, kerosene, naphtha, solvent, and then we are getting the uncondensed gases and like LPG. So here also we are getting from the fractional distillation, we are getting the LPG at the normal temperature 30 degrees Celsius. So it consists of propane and butane, and it may be readily liquefied under pressure, and so it is can be economically stored and transported in cylinders. Normally we are day to day life we are seeing that the cylinders, the LPG cylinders, or it will be stored in like a cylinder, it will be placed so that it can be used. Then this is a composition of the LPG. Mainly N-butane is about 38.5% and isobutane is about 37%, then propane is about the 24.5%. So these are all the three constituents mainly present in the LPG: butane, isobutane and propane. So normally LPG we cannot notice the leakage. So here that in LPG they are adding the mercaptan, this is sulfur compound. So only we are, whenever the leakage is happening, we can notice the what is the smell of the LPG, we are just note it. So by this way we can we can identify the LPG. Then uses and advantages of the LPG. So LPG consists of the hydrocarbons and it is also burns easily without leaving any residue. Then LPG has higher calorific value than the other gases like hydrogen and carbon monoxide. Then calorific values is about 7 times higher than the coal gas and 3 times higher than the natural gas. Then it is free from carbon monoxide and it is also less hazardous. So these are all the main advantages. Normally we are using that LPG, it may gives the carbon residue, it does not leave the carbon residues, and it is not at all in a hazardous way. Then what are the main advantages and uses of the LPG? Number one is it is used as a domestic fuel and as well as the industrial fuel. It is also used as a motor fuel, then higher efficiency and higher heating rate, then easy to manipulate, then needs little care for maintenance. So that's why we are using in the domestic purpose. Then portability and less health hazard. So these are all the major advantages of the liquefied petroleum gas, that is LPG. Then these are all the advantages where CNG over the LPG. So whenever we are comparing the CNG and LPG, so what is the main advantages of the CNG? CNG vehicles are limit 40% less than nitrogen oxide and the 90% of hydrocarbons and 25% of carbon dioxide. Then CNG produces less pollutants than LPG. When we are comparing to the LPG is also more superior fuel. So when we are comparing to the LPG, CNG is superior because of the less pollutant. Then the octane rating of the CNG is also very high. Then it does not evolve nitrogen and sulfur components and gases. It mixes with very easily with the air and than the other gaseous fuel. Noise level is much less than the diesel. Then CNG is cheaper, cleaner than LPG. So normally CNG, it is a very cheaper and cleaner comparatively we can say for the LPG. So LPG, it is a main combination of the butane, isobutane and propane. Whereas in the CNG, what is the main component? That is methane. So here the methane it does not releases the any hazardous material, and it is eco-friendly and it is cleaner technology. So everything the CNG, it is more superior than the other fuels, gaseous fuels. So it is a comparison of the CNG and versus LPG. You can see that comparison. So this it is mainly consists of methane, that is CNG, and it is stored and transported in the high pressure. Then it is sourced from the natural gas reservoirs under the earth crust. Then it has less energy unit per volume. It is mainly used for the fuels in locomotives. So normally the CNG gas, it will be used as a locomotive purpose, we are using as a fuels. So on the other hand, the LPG, so here it is mainly consists of the propane and butane. It is stored in the pressure vessels, and then it is obtained from the crude oil refining and processing of the natural gas. Then it offers more energy per unit volume, and it is used as a domestic fuel and various automobile industries, and we are using for the various purpose. So this is a comparison between the CNG and LPG. So probably all the gaseous fuels are more superior than any other fuels. So when we are comparing the CNG and LPG, CNG is more superior than the LPG. Thank you.